This is part two of Distance from Center with Chris Rossi. Trent is off riding his mountain bike or dyeing his hair or whatever he does in his free time. And Chris is back with us again. Chris, welcome again to Distance from Center.
Hey, thank you very much for having me again. I'm happy to be on. I'm excited to see what we're going to do today.
So let's talk a little bit about state of the sport. It shouldn't surprise you that I get a random phone call once a week telling me about some terrible crime against the sport of water skiing happening in the state of Florida. And, you know, I've kind of learned to let most of it, kind of go away and realize that, people are going to vent to me. But interesting question came up recently. When we're talking about R and L tournaments, and we're talking about rankings lists, and rankings lists matter to pro and elite skiers, should we disallow or lower the value of scores against the rankings list when only one skier or two skiers in the open division are present at the event?
Wow. No, I don't.
Okay.
Only because I can give you an example. I live in Utah. I have very few amount of record tournaments possible. And with the current way that we do things, that's my only opportunity without having to travel to do a record tournament where there's no prize money or ability to recover funds. So my initial response would be no. But that being said, I brainstormed a lot with a lot of pro skiers, and we had at some point, come up with this idea that maybe we should have 2 or 3 or 4 records throughout the year, probably in Florida mostly, that would bring together all of these pros and use that as the most significant field to get the scores from.
Well, it's interesting you say that. Now, as a Californian, I completely agree. And when this subject came up on my last couple of days, my comment was we have so few L&R tournaments in California that a skier like Brian Detrick would be hugely disadvantaged if he had to go all the way to Florida to ski. But then, do we have too many record tournaments in the state of Florida? Is that possible, or is it...
Well, I mean, I lived in Florida for a long time, and it was very convenient and really nice. And you just expect everybody to come to you. So, I think maybe the compromise is to have maybe 2 in Florida and then 2 other places. And maybe one's in Europe somewhere and maybe one's in California to hit our next budding demographic out there out west.
Right. And so the subject of should events be more skier against skier as opposed to rankings list doesn't resonate. You don't think that's important?
No, other than, if you put the whole field together, you get to see who's the best,
right,
given that deal. So probably not.
All right. So you are commissioner of water skiing, commissioner of non-professional water skiing. What changes would you make with your new power?
Oh, well, I guess then I would say I'm a big fan of ability-based skiing.
Okay.
And I can elaborate on that.
Please.
Here's my least favorite saying in all of water skiing, and I think I've been guilty of saying it before. But that saying is, I'm here to compete against myself. When you put together a competition or a tournament, that tournament is so that you can come together with a lot of people and see who is actually the best. So I feel like what's happened is, when I was younger and we were skiing tournaments, it was a super vibrant tournament scene, and everybody was trying to win their divisions. And they wanted to come home with a medal or a first place, or just try to crack the top 3 or whatever that was. And then, as people progressed and skiers got better and certain skiers used their ability to go to Florida or have longer seasons or whatever that was, they got to this place where, they were clearly better than everyone. And then everyone had to come up with an excuse to go to the tournaments because that's what they do, and kind of lost track of, I just feel like we've lost track of the competition side of it. I mean, yeah, okay, at nationals we have that. But when you're looking at the local tournament scene, you just have all these gaps in ability level. But if you look at division to division, you actually could have some higher levels of competition between different division members out there. So I just want to see competition back into it, and I want to see people with the fire, and I want them to to have that fire to want to go out and beat whoever it is that they're competing against.
Awesome. Okay, let me squirrel on you again. You are now commissioner of all professional elite open skiing.
Mm-hmm. Same question?
What? Yeah, same question. What are you going to change?
Two things. I think on the professional end, I think that number one, if you're going to host or organize a professional event, I think the most important thing is to actually think about the spectators that are on shore watching your show. I think we do a great job of actually hosting tournaments so that the athletes are set up well to do their best and go out there. And I think most of our focus in the past has actually gone towards making sure that everything is set up right and that we have all our cameras and, that we've got our running orders right and we've got this all running, and we run that very efficiently. I think that the biggest thing is we're not taking into account the person on shore who is watching the event, who is choosing to come to the event over doing a myriad of other things that they could be doing at the same time. So, I think in that realm, we need to just take a step back and decide what is it that these people actually need or want, and to have them come, to bring friends, and, sometimes these events get long, they get drawn out. I want to make them short, sweet, to the point. And then number two, I actually do think that we need shore video for video review. And that's just to help with the integrity of our scores and make sure that when people are watching an event that they see a guy, that we give second place to that maybe didn't actually get second place. That's a tough thing to swallow. So, a lot like New Orleans has been doing this, going through this in football, and they're making changes. I think we need to do the same thing.
I agree. And, I obviously you're referencing back to Moomba this year, and we've kind of beaten that to death. I actually feel bad for the officials because, as I've said a couple of places, if I'd been one of those judges, I may very well have messed that score up. I may have called that wrong. But in the end, Joel Howley took the short stick. Exactly.
I mean, I think that's the kind of that's it. It Joel suffered because of that, and the crowd suffered because of that, because they were there watching, cheering on, and thought they had seen something that didn't actually happen. So it's no offense to Nate. It's no offense to our judges. They called what they saw. Maybe the angles weren't quite right. Maybe it was an inexperienced judge, which I doubt, but, it could happen. I mean, a lot of things could have happened, but if we had a backup plan on shore that we could at least go and do, maybe that would be the case. Maybe we could change the outcome the right way.
All right. Good stuff, Chris Rossi. That's all the time we've got. I sure do appreciate your time. Any quick parting words?
No, just want to say thank you. Thank you to all your readers, and thanks Radar and Performance for setting me up so well. And I look forward to our next episode.
All right. Thank you, folks. We'll be back soon.